Happy New Year, everybody. It's the wonderful year 2007. I just got this magical device. It's called a Wii. It's got this game called Super Mario Galaxy on it. You can even play Wii Fit and a little baseball game and create your own characters called Me on it. I have Pokemon Diamond and Pearl for my Nintendo DS. T-Pain's Buy You a Drink is the number one song. And look at the AFC, the teams leading the divisions right now. The Patriots, the Colts, the Chargers, and of course the Steelers. I mean, it's like it's 2007 all over again. And of course, the Cavs are about to get swept by the San Antonio Spurs. Looking at those throwback uniforms they also just released. Happy 2007, everybody. Can you believe it? Wow. Unreal. It's already 2007, guys.
It's pretty crazy. It felt like 2006 was just yesterday.
I know.
The
2006.
Browns this
What a
year are going
time.
to go 10-7 and miss
I
the 10
know.
and 6 and miss the playoffs. That's exciting.
I know. And your Colts just came off a Super Bowl victory.
Yep. Beat the
Yeah, I know.
Bears.
Peyton
Huge.
Manning.
I was 5 years old. I remember it well.
I know. I was six, and I remember it very well also. I remember it very well.
2007 was so long ago. I was still a Browns fan back then.
That's
I think the only
great.
thing I remember about 2007 out of everything I mentioned was playing the Wii and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Welcome to Raw Takes and Company. It's Andrew Hody with Matthias Andahar and Jacob Malensik. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It kind of does feel like 2007 seeing who's leading the AFC. I think we could all agree on that. But if you like our show, as always, make sure to check us all out on social media. Matthias is on Instagram at Matthias Andahar. You can find me on X at Hody Raw Takes or Hody Andrew on Instagram. Jake Malensik. You can find him at Malensik J on X and Instagram as well. So, welcome into the podcast. How you guys doing today?
Good. It's a nice sunny 2007 October day.
October
Well, not
2007.
sunny anymore,
Well,
but it
I
was
guess I
sunny
shouldn't have
today.
said the
It was.
Patriots go 16 and 0 because they weren't 16 and 0 yet in October.
No. You did say Happy New Year, so maybe it's January and they're on the brink of going 16 and 0.
Well, then it's 2008, my friend. Matthias, how are you?
I'm I'm doing all right. Man, this NFL week, I felt so confident about what teams were good, and then the teams actually played, and I'm like everything's upside down. Somehow the Steelers are still winning, so the more things change, the more things stay the same.
Well, this is why I'm hot about the Browns right now. Just kidding. I just wanted to throw the "This Is Why I'm Hot" reference in there because that's another song from 2007. But I'm hot
We're just
about the
leaning
Browns
right
right
into
now,
it.
and we'll talk about that later. All right, let's get into some NFL headlines here. We're going to start things off in Nashville, Tennessee, where Brian Callahan was fired by the Tennessee Titans. He boasted a 3-14 record last year and only won one game until he was fired midseason. I'm kind of surprised this was the first midseason fire, gentlemen. However, I can understand it to a degree. I still don't necessarily know if it was the right move. I think you got to give a guy like that more time. Let's start with you, Matthias. What are your thoughts on this move?
I think if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, this was a long time coming. Just it's not surprising that this is a mid-season fire. This is surprising that it took them this long to fire him. Just completely unfortunate for Titans fans, but finally you got rid of him. So what are you going to do next? That's what I'm hoping for.
All right, Jake, you go ahead.
Yeah, I thought Matthias was kind of right there. I was surprised that it took this long. He to me felt very similar to Gerard Mayo last year, where you kind of just could have cut bait at the end of the season and said, "Oops, we made a mistake. We're about to take a quarterback number one overall. Let's give him a better coach." And they didn't, and they've now kind of wasted 6 games of Cam Ward. The key for them is to not hire another disaster because they cannot set their number one pick up for that.
Mhm.
To me, this feels like a hire that needs to be somebody who's done it before, not a Brian Callahan. This needs to be somebody who has head coaching experience. And I don't know who that is. I heard Mike McCarthy on a podcast that I was listening to this morning. And I don't know that that's like the slam dunk hire, but boy, at least he's done it, right? Like he's coached Dak Prescott, he's coached Aaron Rodgers. He could at least give you wins. So I think that's the key is who are you going to lock in to help your quarterback?
I'll say this. This week, the Browns play the Dolphins. The Mike McDaniel, Kevin Stefanski, they're both on the hot seat right now. I think we both know that. those are two names I would consider for the Titans head coaching job maybe at the end of the season. If one or the two of them both get fired or not fired, who knows, obviously. But that's a possibility. I agree
You
with
just
you,
need
Jake.
somebody who's done it
Yeah,
before because Brian Callahan never did, and he's not very good at it.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Brian Callahan's dad, though, has proven he could be good at it too. He was the interim with the Washington at the time Redskins, now Commanders. So for me, I think this is going to be an interesting place for an NFL head coach to go, and we'll have to find out what it is. And it's not necessarily a great situation. I am a huge fan of Cam Ward. I think I told you guys that, but there's still a lot to get to, of course, with the Titans' issues roster wise. All right, we're going to move on now to Mike Tomlin. He recently made some comments about Andrew Berry trading his quarterback to the Bengals, Joe Flacco. He said that this was probably not a smart move, doesn't understand. It was mind boggling. You trade within the division. I don't have the word for word quote up, but we'll start with you, Jake, on this one. I actually agree 100% with what Mike Tomlin said, even as a Browns fan. I think it was kind of an interesting move, but at the same time, the Browns aren't really going anywhere, and they did get a pick out of it. So I guess I could kind of see from the Browns' perspective, but it's still weird for both of these organizations. I think the Bengals deserve some blame too, because they technically made the Browns better as well, possibly.
Yeah, I think it's certainly when that came across my Twitter timeline, it was certainly weird. I don't know that my first thought was like that we made a mistake and we shouldn't have traded a quarterback who's not very good anymore to a division rival. I actually landed in the place of the fact that we got a pick at all was amazing to me. Andrew Berry has now turned Josh Dobbs, Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco into draft picks, which is amazing that he's been able to do that at all. So, yeah, do I wish it was to the Bengals? No, I wish it was to an NFC team that we didn't have to see Joe Flacco. But also, at the end of the day, if he beats us in Cincinnati, oh well. It's probably better if we lose that game anyways. So I do see where Mike Tomlin's coming from that it's weird, but I'm just happy to have the pick.
All right,
Yeah, I
Matthias, let's head
agree.
over to you.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that like Mike Tomlin, as much as I love him, this is unfortunately like a very old school answer from an school head coach, where it's like, oh, you don't want to trade in the division. Both of you guys have like 4 wins combined. Like nothing's going to change. Like
Three.
it's not about like, oh, they're going to know our playbook. Like at the end of the season, both of those teams are going to be sitting in Cancun, and like it's not going to matter. And it's not even like a star or anything. It's Joe Flacco. Like Joe Flacco in Cleveland, oh my gosh, he was probably a star. But like,
For 4 games.
yeah, like
It's all we needed.
it's kind of a nothing burger. So like I'm kind of curious on out of all the trades that happen in division, we could talk about how all the Baltimore and Cleveland players end up in Pittsburgh, but he's not complaining about that. I'm certainly not.
Well, I think I was complaining a lot when Joe Hayden ended up there, but at the same time, he ended up being well, at least retiring as a Cleveland Brown. The best way to say that. So I'll take that for what it's worth. But nevertheless, you're absolutely right on that, Matthias. All right, we're going to transition now to the highlights from last week in the NFL, some of our favorite games that we got to see. We're going to start things off with Matthias, who coincidentally wants to talk about the Brown Steelers game. So, Matthias, you have the floor. Go for it.
I sure do. The Browns and Steelers game was the AFC North game I have ever seen. Like
I would
just
agree.
that felt like 2007. Like just back in like not even back and forth, just back and more back. And then the Steelers offense woke up and like it was just like it was good for the Steelers, but it's also infuriating because the Steelers defense, they played well, but they had 5, 6 opportunities for an interception and all of them dropped. Like that's for the Browns, you're throwing up your hands and you're going, okay, whatever. It's not like they're going to score or anything. But like for teams down the line, like not against the Bengals, but for other teams down the line, like you need to clean that up because our offense hasn't been that productive as much as you probably think, or as much as they probably should. But you got to take opportunities, and the defense didn't give them as much. So yeah, that. So what do you guys think about the Steelers? I could start. I could hand it over to you, Jake, of like the defense, but just like overall this season.
I the Steelers are so confusing every year, man, because they
Most of
should
the
just
time.
never be good, and they're always good, and it's obviously coaching. Like Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but boy, there was a couple of throws from Aaron Rodgers where I thought this guy's washed, and then 2 plays later, he hits an absolute dime on a deep ball to DK Metcalf, and you're like, okay, maybe he's not washed. So there's just something over in Pittsburgh, man, where it's like you guys are just never out of games. You're never out of a season. You're always playing disciplined defensive football, and you don't beat yourselves ever. And that's like the recipe for success in the NFL. 9 times out of 10 is just not beating yourself. And the Steelers do so well at that. Rodgers doesn't take sacks against us. He doesn't turn the ball over against us. He doesn't make mistakes. We were the ones who made mistakes. You rough the punter on 4th and 5, and I want to lose my mind because the Steelers don't do that. We do that, and that's the problem. It's infuriating to watch a team that doesn't get coached like the Steelers do.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Jake, we go on to your game now, which is also the Browns and Steelers. You want to add to that?
Yeah, I don't have much more to say other than the point that, and I texted you guys, I think it was during the game or after the game that I had a take that I was going to say for the show. My take was that if I woke up Monday morning and Jim Schwartz was the only coach left on the staff, I would be perfectly okay with that. Which I texted to my brother and he said, yeah, I agree. Because at the end of the day, I'm really tired of watching this team just be poorly coached pretty much in every aspect of the game. I got a chance to meet Bubba Ventrone when I worked for the Browns. He's an awesome dude. He's really funny. He's incredibly personable. I don't really think he's a great special teams coordinator anymore. I'm kind of out on it. We have special teams blunders in the worst way every single week. And it's getting to the point where special teams doesn't look important until you watch 17 games of bad special teams. And then you're losing games because you rough the punter, or you're losing games because you muff a punt, or you fair catch when you have 20 yards of leeway. So I'm kind of just don't know what coach on this team is actually doing anything right now. And I feel bad saying that, but it's just bad football. It feels worse than 0-16 because at least like that team had some fun young guy. Like this team has fun young guys too, but there's just this team shouldn't be that bad. That's the problem. 0-16, you were just accepting it because it was a bunch of nobodies.
I think
This
when we were
team,
0-16 too, Jake, you have to factor in though that we had a promising future. I don't know what the promising future is.
right?
Yeah.
Like that team, when you went 0-16, you were like, this is fine. Who cares? This year, it's like, man, we have Miles Garrett and Denzel Ward and Jerry Jeudy and Joel Bitonio and all of these guys in or nearing the end of their prime, and we're just wasting them. And
Yeah, it
it
just feels like they're rotting
sucks.
away.
You think they're trading David Njoku this year? That's one thing I was thinking about because David Njoku is also kind of towards the end of his prime. I still think he's great, but the Browns aren't going to win this year. So to me,
No.
I don't know. I
All I
mean,
know
Darius
is that
Teller, see you later. David Njoku, see you later.
all
I
I
as
know
already
is
much
that
as
I
David
I've
knew.
Njoku
defended
got rocked.
Stefanski, oops, sorry.
I said all I know is that David Njoku kept getting rocked by that middle defense. Like it was bad.
Dude, he's not practice. He like didn't practice today. He's really hurt.
As much as I've defended Stefanski, I mean, I don't know if I could defend this much longer, to be quite
It's
honest.
bad.
Same thing with Andrew Berry, but at the same time, the Browns also weren't expected to win this year. So I guess we'll have to find out later. All right, Tampa Bay and San Francisco. So Baker Mayfield looks like an MVP candidate. We just talked about the Cleveland Browns and where they're at. And I can't believe Baker Mayfield just went out there with the limited receivers he had. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, no Emeka Ibuka. And he went out there and he straight balled. He balled out there. He outplayed Mac Jones. And Mac Jones, I think, actually played great outside of the turnovers. I thought he looked really good in a San Francisco 49er uniform. The Niners played a great game too, but Baker Mayfield has just been the guy for the Tampa Bay Bucks. And I think Todd Bowles has also done a great job, possibly another coach of the year candidate right there, getting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and winning football. The defense has been phenomenal for the most part. San Francisco honestly should have scored probably 27, 28 points in that game. And those turnovers were big when Tampa Bay needed them. They got them. What are your guys' thoughts? We'll start with you, Matthias. I really think Baker Mayfield is close to an MVP candidate. I don't want to say so yet, but what are your thoughts?
my question is, who else is there? Like Mike Evans, I mean not Mike Evans, Matthew Stafford has been playing phenomenally, but like I don't know, he's just that like for an MVP it's not only like the performance, obviously the performance matters, but the story also matters. And just Baker, the way that he's been playing with a chip on his shoulder against the entire league, and like he's been doing the right things, but he's also been doing things that we saw in Cleveland where it's like that 2nd and 14 play. I think that's his MVP play where he drops back, two people swarm him, he ducks underneath, barely avoids it, and just runs for the first down while breaking another tackle and diving for it. Like that's what we saw in Cleveland. Like it was in spurts, but like now he's gotten older and like now he's able to do that. And man, has it been special for Tampa Bay.
Any thoughts, Jake?
I think he's going to win the MVP, and I'm incredibly happy for him. That's really all I've got. Shout out Tez Johnson. He's a cool dude. Thought his
Yeah.
catch was awesome. The MVP chant stuff is hilarious. That's awesome. But go Bake, man. Go win the MVP. I'll root for you for sure.
I think it's interesting too. Tampa Bay plays Detroit this upcoming week, and I think the winner will be first place in the NFC.
Yeah.
However, I'll talk about my pick for that game later on. Let's move on to Matthias and his next game.
So for my next game, it is the Seahawks versus Jags. Both of those teams, the Jaguars were coming off of an all-time high. Some would even say that that was their own Super Bowl. Like they're already like, okay, we won our big game. That's it. Like the rest of the season should be smooth sailing. And then they ran into a white hot Seahawks, and like the Seahawks, even in their losses, even when they played against Tampa Bay last week, they played phenomenally. So like which team, like to me the question is which team looks more impressive, even though it was only a 20-12 score. Like the Seahawks played great. JSN was able to get on the board. um Sam Darnold hasn't been taking the Seahawks out of games. So I want, and like Trevor Lawrence, we saw from him last week, I was a bit off on it from, like I said, of just like he's doing it with his legs more than he is with the air. And if you want to be a star QB, you need to do both. So Andrew, I'll start with you. Like, which team has been more impressive to you this year? Because to me, it's the Seahawks.
I was gonna say the Jags until what I saw on Sunday. I'm with you now on the Seahawks. I've been preaching about Trevor Lawrence and the Jags and Liam Cohen and how I think it's going in the right direction. I still think it is, but after what I saw on Sunday, Sam Darnold, yeah, he wasn't necessarily perfect, but he played a pretty darn good game. He played good against the Bucks a few weeks ago. I think Sam Darnold last year proved he could play in the NFL at a high level. I think this year he's proving he could play in the NFL at a high level. I'm impressed with the Seattle Seahawks. And I think we need to give credit to McDonald a little bit, head coach for Seattle. A lot more impressive taking over after the Pete Carroll regime than I thought he would be. He wasn't just some rookie head coach who got in there and kind of had to clean up a mess. It was already a good situation, and it's continued to be a good situation. But I will say, somebody in the NFC West is going to fall off, and I have more faith it could be Seattle more than San Francisco or LA. But at the same time, Seattle's proven it so far. They did last year. They went 10-7, even though they didn't make the playoffs. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, Jake, how about you if you have anything?
I would also agree that it's Seattle. Their defense is legit, and that's the key for me. Sam Darnold's playing great. JSN is awesome, but I think Seattle's defense is more gives me more confidence than anything the Jaguars can provide. So I would go Seattle.
Alrighty, let's move on to Jake's game. He had Indianapolis and Arizona next.
Yeah, it was a an interesting game. We were talking about it during the game in our group chat about, are the Colts really bad or what was going on? I don't know. I just think Jacoby Brissett's really competent quarterback. And I think you give Jacoby Brissett Marvin Harrison. I know he got concussed and didn't play the whole game, but you give him Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride and like a little bit of consistency, like he can get the job done. We saw that when he was in Cleveland. Like he'll find open receivers, he'll get the ball to his playmakers, he can move an offense. And it's not that Kyler can't do that, but it was Kyler just he's so up and down and there's highs and lows and highs and lows and Jacoby is just the same guy all the time. And so when you have a low Kyler game, you have bad Cardinals. When you have Jacoby in there, you have consistent Cardinals. And I thought the Colts ran into that a little bit. Now they did a nice job to stay in this game and to win it. And Jonathan Taylor took over like he always does. But it was interesting to watch. Like, I think Kyler is an incredible quarterback when he's on, but when he's off, you see what an offense can look like when you have a guy that doesn't have an off switch. He doesn't have an on switch, but he's just a neutral guy that runs the offense. And that's what it'll be interesting to see how Cardinals fans feel about that when Kyler comes back and he's off. And you're like, well, Jacoby didn't look like that. That's my main takeaway as a Colts fan. Happy to get the win, but I was interested to watch Brissett play like I've seen Jacoby Brissett play 25 times. I'll open it up to you guys if you have any thoughts.
To me, I still feel like there's going to be a Colts crash at some point, but at the same
Hope not,
time,
but I'm worried
I
because the
don't know.
defense is just there's just no talent on the defense, or not that much.
That's all I have.
Go ahead,
So
Matthias.
to me, like to kind of to your point, but to counter it, we saw the same thing with Joshua Dobbs. Like he came in, played great, or played kind of too good, but played great, and then had that mediocre and then left. Kyler Murray then had that up and down, then got injured. And then now Jacoby Brissett is having the same like mediocre good play. So like my question is it really a coaching thing or is it actually Kyler Murray?
Alrighty, let's move
Be
on
interesting to
to.
find out.
I guess
Stay
we'll see as the
tuned.
season goes on, but I think Jonathan Gannon's on the hot seat. I think we can all agree on that too, especially at this point, because who knows if
You know where he went? Do you know where he went to college? Jonathan
where
Gannon, John Carroll
John Carroll.
University, our big
Oh,
rivals. So maybe he should get fired.
maybe.
John Carroll's actually not in the OAC anymore, so
I
BW
did
didn't play
not.
them this year.
I forgot about that. That they
Yeah, I
left.
remember
Not that we
that.
want to go into. They're still our rivals. I
BW
still
has
don't
a
like
great
them.
chance of
I
making the
didn't.
playoffs now that they only play Mount Union and not John Carroll. But I guess
Yeah,
we'll find out, right?
I don't. Did any of us see a win against John Carroll when we were there? I don't think so.
No, the last time BW
No.
beat John Carroll was 2012. Matthias and I almost called a winner back at WBWC. Shout out to everybody at BW, of course. And it was very
Don't talk
close.
to me about almost called a winner because I've got
28 to
maybe the worst
16
loss in
lead.
the history of football. Me and Matthias have almost
Yeah.
lost my mind.
Yeah, you guys
I
had the Mount
forgot you know
Union
that.
game, and we
Yeah, that John
Matthias
Carroll
had
one we should have won too.
the
I was
John
so
Carroll
mad.
one.
I was watching that one in the stands.
But it was the comeback. John Carroll came back and won at 29-28.
They had
And
like
yeah,
24 unanswered points in the second
Yeah,
half. It was
Mount Union
it
ridiculous.
did
was.
a. Oh my God. Moving on. Moving on. That
Bad
one.
memories. We got to move on. This is
Yeah,
really
we do.
bad.
We got Kansas City and
Nobody
Detroit
cares.
up next.
Nobody cares about this.
You guys
Go
know
ahead,
I was a
Andrew.
big believer in Detroit, and yes, I think a lot of people in Berea care about it, and BW fans and John Carroll fans. But
Put the
that's a
flag in
story
the
for
bag.
another
Let's
day.
move on.
Kansas City, Detroit. All
Go to the
right. So
Lions.
Dan Campbell, I think, was outcoached by Andy Reid in this game. I think he was gutsy in the play calling early, especially. Jared Goff, I think, overall had a good game. I just think he made one crucial mistake at the very beginning with that illegal formation. I think when you look at Xavier Worthy coming back, that was something big for Kansas City, and we're starting to see that kind of make an impact. Juju even made an impact for Kansas City. Brian Branch, I don't think there's any defense for what he did after the game. Definitely caused a little bit of a scene, and I think Detroit and Dan Campbell, especially when he came out and didn't defend it at all, did absolutely the right thing. He's not going to be playing this week against Tampa Bay. For me personally, I'm not that worried about Detroit. I am a little worried about them maybe going into this game with Tampa Bay, but I'll save that for the picks. Other than that, I think Detroit's going to be fine. I think Kansas City proved they're going to be fine too. I was kind of hoping Detroit would come out with the win on this one, but Kansas City did. I'm not surprised either way. Mahomes looked like Mahomes. Do you guys have any thoughts on this game?
Um, Mahomes looks great, is my
Yeah,
takeaway.
that was
He's
his best
this
game of the year.
well, and this is the best he's looked in a couple of seasons. At least he did not look like this last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't look like this for a lot of 2 seasons ago. And it's scary that he's playing like this, and he hasn't even gotten Rashee Rice back yet. He's going to this week.
Mm-hmm.
When he locks in like this, it's really, really hard to beat that team, regardless of what the defense is playing like, regardless of what his receivers are playing like. This guy has that ability when he locks in and plays like he can play like he has been. It is dangerous. And I'm not worried about the Lions because it's hard to beat that team on the road. But boy, Pat is playing a special kind of football.
Any
Yeah,
thoughts, Matthias?
I am I'm shaken, not stirred by the Chiefs because now they're starting. It feels like they're turning around, especially with him getting Rashee Rice back. But it's like this has been a great game. I need another prove it game before I'm actually like scared about them again.
All right, let's move on to Matthias's next game. He's heading down to Charlotte, North Carolina for this one.
So, this was a shootout that I would have never had on my bingo card. Like 27-30, both offenses humming, which it's from, I mean, it was from somebody that I heard. It was that like Bryce Young will either look like prime Brett Favre or prime Nathan Peterman, and there's no in between. And like, man, like he didn't even do that much. Like he even had an interception, but he was still the game manager that the team needed. 199 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that set up for the rush, which has been kind of non-existent, with 183 rushing yards from one guy. So like it's been great. It was great complimentary football against a very bad Dallas defense. But like this was also the same Dallas team that just tied with the freaking Packers, which by week 1 I would have said they're a contender. So like I don't know. And Dak Prescott, he's been on a tear. Like just period point blank. He's been a man on a mission. He's tired of hearing everybody just talk bad on him, and he's like, "All right, give me the ball. Let's see what we can do." And like that's my question is just that like can that like one man show that he's doing, because that's essentially what he is, like is that enough to save the season
No,
at least until CD Lamb comes back?
no, it's not enough. It's not enough at all. I think Dak Prescott has played out of his mind. He should be an MVP candidate next to Baker. It's just his team doesn't win. The Dallas Cowboys are a mess on defense. I don't think anyone's talking about that enough. They have a terrible defense. They're missing Micah Parsons. Offensively, George Pickens has been somewhat of a factor. Dak Prescott, I think, has been the X factor. I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you know you have your quarterback. I don't know what else you have. The Dallas Cowboys are a mess. And that's my opinion, but they have the quarterback. And I think Jerry Jones knows that, but they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones knows that he has a QB and one of his top 2 wide receivers.
They're going to be nothing if they can't run the ball. And they didn't run the ball last week against
Can't
Carolina.
run the
And
ball at all.
yeah, well, Javante's had success, but not last week. They got to run. That's the key.
Alrighty, let's move on to the Bills and Falcons. Jake, take it away.
Well, I want to start by giving my good friend Matthias a lot of credit here because here's the thing. A, he was right about the Bills, potentially. But B, I'm seeing all over my Twitter feed this week a bunch of people coming out and talking about how the Bills haven't beat anybody and how all their wins are against bad teams. And we had it here first last week because Matthias called it out. So I'm formally right here. You can make this a reel. I'm giving my guy credit because he had it last week. And that's
Yeah,
really the only reason I wanted to pick this game was because the universe needed to know that we had it first here on this podcast.
He was
you
We
had it
right.
talked
1
about
week
it.
in advance.
He knew that it
Anyways,
was coming on.
that being said, the Bills lost this week again. And man, I wish we would have started this at week 1 because I would have come on here and pounded the table for the Atlanta Falcons offense because I'm here for it. I have one fantasy team. I have Penix, Robinson, and London. Like I'm all in on the Falcons offense. And this was the version of that offense that can be really exciting. When Penix is hitting open receivers, when Bijan's running like a madman, when Drake London is just getting open, there's so much fun in this offense. Their defense played lights out as well. That's another story for another day. But To me, it was just like the Falcons with all of these high offensive draft picks finally coming together and playing a complete game and putting stuff on the table that looks so promising. Penix played a really good, clean game. The offense played a clean game. I'm just excited to see if this positive momentum continues. And I hope that it does, A, for my fantasy team, but B, because the Falcons need this, man. They need a fun offense again. Talk about 2007. It was a fun offense back then.
And Matt Ryan wasn't even drafted yet.
No, I don't think he was.
And I don't even think the Falcons were that good in 2007, but they were
Maybe not. I don't know. I just wanted to go back to the
Matt
'07. Well, if you guys have any
Ryan was
thoughts, like
2008, and he took him right to the playoffs. But I was going to say, props to Matthias. He was spot on with his being concerned about the Bills. It was incredible what the Falcons did. Did not expect it. Bijan Robinson by himself is better than every player on the Bills offense not named Josh Allen. I think we
you
can.
said that, and you're
Yeah.
definitely right, by the way. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
I mean, that's just my thoughts there. But wow, that was an insane game. I don't think anybody saw that coming. The Falcons made a statement, but I still don't believe in them. They did get shut out by the Panthers. Bryce Young torched that defense better than Josh Allen. Moving on.
Some of us had Atlanta Falcons money line in that game, and they're really rich at the moment, but that's besides the point.
Moving on
Uh,
to the Chargers and the Dolphins. Justin Herbert making a statement, I think, again. The Chargers kind of needed a comeback win, and now Kansas City is on their trail. I think the Chargers still have a reasonable shot to win this division based on the divisional wins they already have. Still some concerns about them. I still believe in Jim Harbaugh as their head coach. The Miami Dolphins, though, to me, I just wanted to bring this up. Tua Tagovailoa calling out the players in the players only meetings, and that players weren't showing up to them. Because that could that fall back on the coach? I don't know. Mike McDaniel, to me, once again, he went out there. He didn't look professional. He was wearing those pants or whatever, and there's all those memes on social media about how he wasn't dressing formally to the games. I don't think this guy takes his job seriously. I think he'll be a great offensive coordinator back with the San Francisco 49ers, or maybe a good offensive head coach somewhere, but I don't even know if I think he should be a head coach before he's an offensive coordinator again. Mike McDaniel needs to go. I personally hope the Dolphins lose to the Browns on Sunday and the Miami Dolphins officially make the move. I think they need to fire Chris Greer too because he's been there a while and they have zero playoff wins to show for it. The Dolphins, to me, were more of the story than the Chargers, despite the Chargers getting a much necessary needed win. I am talking about the Dolphins because that is a sinking ship that's sinking quicker than the Titanic, and I think it's time for Mike McDaniel to go. I think the Dolphins need to fire him, and I think they need to make the move by the end of this week if they end up losing to the Cleveland Browns, which I think they can because the Dolphins don't have a good overall unit. I think we can agree the Browns have a good overall unit in the defense. What are your guys' thoughts on the Dolphins right now? Not even talking about that game.
I have one thing to say, and it's that the Dolphins stink.
Okay,
And
fair
that's
enough.
really all I've got. I know you kind of touched on that. They're just not a good football team. There's just kind of, like you just said, there's nothing appealing. And that's really all I've got. Matthias, I'll go to you.
So there are teams when they're struggling, they do players' meetings. The Dolphins are so disorganized, their players' meetings aren't even showing up. So I don't know, man. Like I think
It's on
I think
coach
there
and
needs to be
GM, right?
yeah, I think there needs to be a significant change. Um, and that's been since well, they did great with Brian Flores and then it went down from there. So like
Brian Flores was a culture guy, and there's questions about why he was fired. I still think it's questionable why he was fired. Mike McDaniel did a good job coming in, though, and it just doesn't look like he's doing a good job anymore. I think it's played out at this point.
once again, he's going to be an amazing offensive coordinator.
Really good.
I mean, Robert Saleh has been terrific for the San Francisco 49ers.
So
Again, you know?
before we move, just some people are just good coordinators and they're not good head coaches. And I don't think that should be a negative thing.
That's not a
Because it's
negative thing. I
okay
agree
to
with
just
that.
it's just okay to be a really good coordinator. It's like, I don't know. There are parts of my job that I'm really bad at, but there are parts of my job that I'm really good at. So like if Mike McDaniel's really good at being an OC, let's just let him do that. I don't think he should be like we can drag him because he's a bad head coach, but I think we bring up good points here. Like you brought up Salah, that guy's just a good DC, but
Agreed.
doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach. It's what makes hiring a head coach in the NFL impossible because you
Yeah.
just don't know.
You don't know until you see it. There's only so many few guys named Andy Reid and Bill Belichick and Mike Tomlin. All right, we're going to move on to our picks of the week. We're moving on from week 6 on to week 7, and we're going to start things off by tonight's game. Prime Video, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. I I like the headlines going around this game based on what Mike Tomlin said in his press conference. To me, I think when you look at Joe Flacco and what he's been able to do for Cincinnati, he brought some spark back to their offense, unlike Jake Browning. They still don't have an offensive line and they still don't have a defense. I still like Pittsburgh to win this game. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win this game. However, I think Cincinnati does put on a show, and I think Joe Flacco now has something to play for based on what was said by Mike Tomlin, because I feel like that wasn't necessarily a
That's a good
chirp at
point.
Joe Flacco, but I think at the same time, Joe Flacco being involved in it. And Joe Flacco has a lot of wins against Mike Tomlin, also a lot of losses against Mike Tomlin. So I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. Who are you picking in this game? We'll start with Matthias.
Oh, I
Okay,
wonder who he's going to pick. I'm
Yeah,
so
I know.
surprised to hear this.
I'm going to be picking my Pittsburgh Steelers in the ugliest 24 to 10 game you'll ever see.
Oh, boy. So you don't
That
think
is
Flacco's going to light it up like he did last week for Cincinnati? And by light it up, he scored 18 points. So
oh no, I'm not. I don't think so.
all right, Jake, what are your thoughts?
I'm also going to take Pittsburgh. I don't have much else to add on it. Cincinnati probably can cover 5.5 if you are a betting person, but I don't think the Steelers lose this one. Also, don't bet plus 5.5. That is a terrible line, but they might cover it, but don't take it. And don't tell anybody that I told you to take it.
Part of me is weird about this game too. I have a feeling Cincinnati might win this one now. I know I
Dude,
said I
I
picked the
wouldn't
Steelers.
surprise me if they did at
It
all.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
It
It's
absolutely
at
wouldn't.
Like,
home.
I'm not going to
First
pick
things
them, but
first.
you're kind of right.
Yeah. To me, it feels like one of those NFL games where like really surprising things happen. And because of that, I think I'm
Of
going to
the
swing to
Pittsburgh
Cincinnati.
Steelers.
It'll be the,
Steelers, if the Steelers win this game, I won't be surprised. They should win this game. But
I won't be
I
surprised
don't
if
know.
either team wins this game.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think the Steelers,
No,
it's a division opponent. It's their second divisional opponent, and it's not as bad as the Browns. I'm going to take Cincinnati to win this game. I am. I'm changing my pick. I'm going Cincinnati. I know I
Hey,
did
let's go. That's
earlier.
fun.
I'm going to say
okay.
Cincinnati wins it. I think Joe Flacco pulls off a couple decent plays and puts the Bengals in front.
Maybe he
All right.
realizes he has Jamar Chase.
He
Yeah,
did
that's
at the end of the game last week. He finally started just chucking it near him.
and that's when the Bengals offense started looking promising. And I think that may translate this week now that he has some chemistry with him. All right, one sentence, one pick. We're going to go to Matthias and then Jake and then myself as we list off the week 7 games here. All right, London game, Los Angeles Rams, Jacksonville Jaguars. Matthias, you go.
LA Rams, Matthew Stafford proves that Nakua is great, but not the whole offense.
Jake.
I'm also going to take the Rams, and I think this game will be not as close as the experts expect it to be. I think the Rams win in a big one.
I'm taking Jacksonville to win. Trevor Lawrence responds back. All right, New Orleans at Chicago. I'll make this quick. Think the Bears win it. Caleb Williams looked promising on Monday night. Matthias, you go.
Chicago Bears, they finally have a kicker.
Jake.
I'm also going to take the Bears. Not much to say about it. The Saints aren't very good, and the Bears are better than not very good. So I'm going Bears.
Tripping over that bar, man. My
I'm still not a
Bears.
fan of Caleb Williams, but he looked promising, and nothing about the Saints is promising.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. The Dolphins at the Browns. Matthias, go ahead.
Good luck, dude.
The
Tank
Cleveland
full.
Browns, they at least have a defense, and I don't know if I could say the same about the Dolphins.
Jake, go ahead.
I'm going to take the Browns, I think. Um, Look, I'm not going to be watching this game, and I'm stoked. So I'm going to check the score and hope we win. This one is a for sure. This is my lock of the week. It's over under 39.5. You're gonna want to slam the under on that. We
I'm
might
taking
get to we'll be lucky to get to 20.
Yep.
I'm taking the
This game
Browns
might be 10 to
myself.
7. So
Mhm.
put your college, your student loan debt, throw that on the under and get rid of that.
I'm taking the Browns over the Dolphins because I want Mike McDaniel fired more than Kevin Stefanski. So that's my opinion there. I'm rooting for
Fair
the
enough.
Browns to beat the Dolphins so the Dolphins make the move that I think needs to be made.
It would be nice if the Browns fired someone else's coach as opposed to us having our coach fired by someone else.
Well,
That's a
in
great point.
2023, they fired Matt Canada.
Well,
That's the closest we've ever gotten, actually. That's a good point. But I do agree with that. Let's fire somebody else's coach again.
Never have we
Oh, when
fired
we
a
do
head
that,
coach. We fired an offensive coordinator.
we're
All
moving
right.
up in the world, baby.
One sentence, one pick. Raiders at Chiefs. I feel like I don't even have to say this game because I feel like I already know what our answers are, but let's go ahead, Matthias.
um, Patrick Mahomes is greater than Geno Smith. Chiefs win.
Jake.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
And I'm going to take the Raiders to lose. Kansas City for me. Philadelphia at Minnesota. Hey, you know what? It's 2007 again. It's like Jamarcus Russell is playing. Sorry, Geno Smith.
So I'm still gonna
You're
take the
better than
Chiefs.
Jamarcus Russell, Geno Smith, but you're throwing a lot of turnovers.
If it's Jamarcus or Geno, I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right. Oh, the blank DVD. All right. Philadelphia at Minnesota. Matthias, go ahead.
It's a good game.
Okay, I'm sorry. The way that they've looked, I think Minnesota's winning this. Just Eagles have not been flying while Minnesota has been in tight ones. If they have JJ in the game, they have a chance. If they have Carson Wentz, it's probably Philly.
All right, Jake, go ahead.
Carson Wentz revenge game, if he plays, is that a factor? I don't
I think
know.
so. I would consider it. He played there majority of his career, right?
Minnesota at
Carson.
home. That's why I'm taking them because they're at home. I don't know. Philly is not playing the best ball.
I feel like there's dysfunction with the Eagles right now. I'm also going to take the Vikings to win at home, but I will not be surprised if
Congratulations
the
on your
Eagles
win,
bounce
Eagles.
back. The Eagles bounce back. I won't be surprised. I'll say that. All right, Carolina at the Jets. Oh boy. To be honest with you, this one seems hard, but I got an interesting pick. Go ahead, Matthias. You start.
All right, complete delusion time. Justin Fields' revenge game from last week. He throws for more than -10 passing yards. Jets get the win. I don't know what else to say.
You
Go
took the
ahead, Jake.
Jets?
Yeah, I'm taking the Jets.
Jeez Louise. I wasn't confident in the Panthers, but Panthers are underdogs in this game, so take that for what
What?
you will.
They're
What?
underdogs?
The Jets are favored, or no, they're not underdogs anymore. They started as underdogs. They opened as underdogs. They're now favored.
That's insane.
So that money moved quick. Carolina, Bryce Young against a good defense on the road. I don't know. I'm gonna take Carolina, but I don't feel good about it.
I'm actually going to take the Jets because Carolina has shown no consistency. The Jets need to win a game at some point. I don't think they're going 0-17. I think they win this game at home. I think it'll be good for their fans, and they need a win. And Aaron Glenn, I think, needs to prove that he is a good head coach in this league. I don't think he's proven that yet. So,
This is their
but
one
they
to
still
get.
need time, to be fair. They still need time.
If
I
they're
agree.
gonna get one, I think it has to be this one. So they better get it.
I think they're going to get this one. That's why I'm picking the Jets to win this game. I know Jake picked Carolina, Matthias picked the Jets with me. So, all right, New England at Tennessee. It's a Mike Vrabel revenge game. Let's start with Matthias.
Um, so contrary to what I said last time, Drake may look scary. Patriots win.
Go ahead, Jake.
Patriots. I really want to take Tennessee solely for the fact that they have the fired head coach like boost thing that exists because teams like always win after they fire the coach, but this team's not good, so I'm taking New England.
New England's got to win this game. New England's off to a great start. I don't see how that changes with this one, so I'm with you guys. All right, New York Giants at the Denver Broncos. That's high altitude right there, Matthias. What do you think?
Um, Giants Broncos. Um, Bo Nix versus Cam Scatabo. I'm going with for this specific game. If Jackson Dart's not playing, I'm going with Denver. They looked ugly, but they have a chance.
Is Dart hurt? Did I miss that?
I don't know for ESP. Oh, that's for the season leaders. Um. Oh wait, never mind. He was hurt last game, but for like a play.
Oh, I was
So
gonna
I
say if
don't.
he's hurt, my pick would definitely change. Well, it wouldn't change, but it would be more convincing.
Yeah, I'm. Well, even with Jackson, I'm taking longer than I should. I'm going with Denver. Defense looks elite. Cortland Sutton and J.K. Dobbins has been a good wide receiver and halfback core. Bo Nix just can't throw this game away.
All right, Jake.
I'll just keep it short and simple. I'm gonna take Denver. I just think better team, better quarterback, better coach, so they win the game.
I'm taking the Giants. I like Jackson Dart. I like what I'm seeing from Cam Scatabo. Brian Dable's coaching for his job. Sean Payton isn't. I'm taking the Giants to win this game. All right, the Colts and the Chargers. Matthias.
Um, I'm going to say the I'm going to say the Colts, but either way, my one sentence, it's absolute cinema.
It's a great game. It's gonna be fun. Hope I'm home for this one. I'm
What's
gonna
your
take the
pick, Jake?
Chargers.
I'm
At home.
also taking the Chargers. I think the Colts come down to earth. I don't think it's going to be cinema. I'm actually going to be probably bored by the fourth quarter.
Minus one and a
Jeez.
half.
I think the Chargers are going to show that they're boss, unlike the Colts. But the Colts, if they win this game, I might be more impressed with them than I've given them credit for. They've done a great job to start the year, but I still feel like there's something with this team that just doesn't make sense to me.
Their
All right,
defense isn't good. That's what's wrong with the Colts, but they just keep
that's true too.
magically not giving up points, and it's mind-boggling to me.
And they also had help from the Miami Dolphins the first week of the season too, because they're terrible. Green
True.
Bay at Arizona. To me, this game feels very boring. I'm gonna start with you, Matthias.
Yeah, this should be a slaughter. Packers.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm gonna take Green Bay. I kind of feel like they win an ugly one for some reason. This just feels like one of those weird, you travel down south and play a weird game and not have your best ball, but hope I'm wrong. Hope the Packers just win it big, but I'm taking the Packers.
I'm starting to not really believe in Green Bay more than other folks are. I know still there's plenty of folks that still believe in Green Bay. I'm taking the Packers to win this game because I think they're better than Arizona. But they lost to Cleveland. It's their only loss of the season, and they tied with Dallas. I mean, if you have that on your record, and I think both those teams are bad, I can't take the Packers super duper seriously. They didn't beat the Lions at the beginning of the season. That was the beginning of the season. It's a divisional game. That was always weird. I'm taking the Packers to win this game. But either way, because Packers, I think, are just better by nature. But I agree with Jake. It's an ugly game. Let's move on to the Commanders at the Cowboys. Oh, that's going to be an interesting game, in my opinion. Let's
Banger.
start with you, Matthias.
Um, Whew. Commanders win it with the score of something in the 50s versus something in the 40s.
Jake,
That's it.
I'm gonna take I didn't actually decide who I was going to pick. I was more focused on the over of 54 and a half, which again, put your life savings on that one because that's going to get there. Um, give me the home team, taking Dallas. I don't like taking teams on the road in the division. Give me Dallas.
I'm going to take the Commanders to win the game because I just don't trust the Dallas Cowboys. But I won't be surprised if the Cowboys win. I agree with Jake's philosophy on trusting division games at home. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers, a team that proved a lot this week against a team that's proven some good things over the course of a couple games but struggled last week. Let's start with you, Matthias.
Okay. I don't want to be a bandwagon, but I'm going to say Falcons win because they're less injured.
Jake?
Uh, I'm going to take the Falcons because I'm having a lot of fun watching the Atlanta Falcons, and it was mostly just last week, but I want to continue to have fun watching the Atlanta Falcons play football, so I'm taking Atlanta. Win on the road again. Or, well, they were at home last week. Never mind,
They
I'm
were
an
at home.
idiot. But win on the road this week. Go Falcons, go.
Falcons have shown no consistency. I'm taking San Francisco because I feel like we know what they are. Moving on to the
Injured.
two games of the week. Well, one starts later than the other one, and the other one that starts later kind of bores me, but I don't think it'll bore Matthias because I know he likes the Seahawks. So let's go with the Seahawks, the Texans at the Seahawks, as we got a timeout from Jake Malensic.
My first one. Why in the world is at 10 p.m. Eastern? What are we doing? I have to go to bed, bro.
I don't know,
What is
man.
going on?
Oh, it's a West Coast game. That's why.
Who cares? It's a Monday. Don't put him on Monday.
For
Since Jake took the
Seattle?
floor, let's have Jake give his pick first, and then we'll go to Matthias.
Sorry, are we doing the Tampa game first?
No, we're doing
No,
Houston
we were
Seattle
doing
first.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
picking that first because that game seems more boring to me. But it's up to you.
I don't think it's boring, but I think Seattle's defense is going to make CJ Stroud's life hard. So I'm going to take Seattle.
All right, Matthias.
I think this is going to be like the Michael Jackson classic Thriller, where like this game is just going to be an absolute thriller. I think we're having a down the line field goal game,
It
which
needs to keep me awake, so it better be good, or I'm going to fall asleep.
which feels really on brand more for Seahawks. So I think it's a coin toss. I'm favoring the Seahawks right now.
I'm taking the Texans to win this game. I think they're going to slowly start to come back in the standings. They started 0-3, and they're the only team, I think, in the last 15 years that has come back and made the playoffs after an 0-3 start. They could do it again. I don't know if they will. I haven't seen enough from CJ Stroud to believe that, but I'm taking the Texans to win this game because I think they need this win more than Seattle, and I think Seattle's got some flaws too that are going to get exposed at some point. All right, final game of week 7, and I just think this is the game of games this week. And I'm glad it's on Monday night. Tampa Bay at Detroit. Let's start with Matthias.
I think Tampa Bay wins convincingly, and Baker Baker cements his MVP this week.
All right, Jake, go ahead.
I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win on the road in Detroit. Mike Evans might be back this week. Chris Godwin might be back this week. Baker Mayfield could throw the ball to the three of us, and we'd probably win the game. So I guess that doesn't matter. Go Bucks.
Well, seeing that Brian Branch is also going to be out this week and Kirby Joseph's a little banged up, if those great wide receivers are back, I like Tampa Bay to win this game. It's just something about Tampa. It's just really likable right now, and I just think they're the better team at this moment. Not counting out Detroit, though. I think they're in this game the whole way. I think Detroit's going to rattle off a bunch of wins after this game, too. So I'm taking Tampa to win it, but Detroit winning wouldn't surprise me either. And that is week 7. We are going to keep track of our picks from here on out. We'll keep track of the records throughout the process of Raw Takes and Company. Next week, we'll have our records shown on the show. What do you guys think about that?
Can I take my second time out?
Yeah.
What does the winner get?
I was going to say
The winner.
comment
Okay,
below
how
what
about
the
this?
winner gets. If we win
The winner picks a restaurant we go to dinner at, and the loser pays for the meal.
oh my gosh.
Are you
Dude,
guys in on that?
how much money do you think I have?
Oh my god.
Okay.
At
a reasonable,
somebody
a reasonable
sponsor us so I can pay
restaurant
for this
choice.
dinner that I'm about to
Yeah.
A reasonable restaurant choice.
Unless we're about to go to
Fast food if you
Wendy's,
want.
my brother.
Is the winner picking Chili's, perhaps?
The winner can pick Chili's. The winner cannot pick a restaurant where you make reservations. The winner cannot pick where. Yeah, that's the rules. It can't be a
Okay, I like it better for going to like Applebee's.
That's fine with me. If it's Applebee's, you
Time out. One more. My
Okay,
last one.
fine.
Wasted it early.
All right.
Is this drinks too, or dinner?
Oh no.
No drinks. No drinks.
Oh,
This
okay.
is
Because I was
just
going to say,
strictly
if
dinner.
we're paying for drinks, this is going to get bad in a hurry.
strictly dinner. Strictly
Okay.
dinner. Okay.
You pay for your own drinks, but the loser pays for dinner. Got it.
Got it. Yeah.
That's
do
much
we agree
better.
on that? All
But
right.
yeah, Matthias, we can
Yeah.
live
The
with
person
that.
who's in second
I'm okay
place
with
just gets to enjoy it all.
Second might be the place to be, low key.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm aiming for second.
I gotta aim for first.
All right, so
I'm
we'll
aiming
make
for
another
second
rule for
place. I don't
dinner.
want to pick.
The
I wanna
restaurant you
pick
choose must have more than one location. That way it makes it easier. So it's a chain.
Brother, we're about to go to a Wendy's, whether I'm first or last. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, man.
All right. So that's the
Junior
deal. We're gonna
bacon
have our
cheeseburger
picks
will
every
hit.
podcast. We'll have our picks every podcast. We'll reveal before we do the picks from the next week. Okay. All right. So that's the bet, guys. Whoever gets the most picks correct from here on out gets to pick the restaurant we go to dinner as long as there's multiple locations at that restaurant, so we know it's reasonably priced, and the loser pays for it. And then the second place winner is just in for it all.
Yeah,
Yeah, comment below who you think had the best picks this week and who you think's just going to win overall.
We're going to keep the
and
records right here on the podcast for all of you. Was it
also
Matthias, me, or Jake?
also comment why second place is the best possible option in this scenario.
Feels like it's the best possible option, but I don't know. I kind of want to pick where we go to dinner.
I don't want to pick. I want to watch one of you two pick and the other one of you two pay, and I sit there and buy whatever I possibly want.
Oh boy. Okay, another rule:
At
it can't be all you
Chili's.
can eat.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. That's a good call. Let's
That's
move
like
on.
Golden
We gotta
Corral.
move on.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
All right.
Baseball.
Obviously, no sponsorships on the podcast. We just mentioned a couple restaurants as jokes. No
They
sponsors.
could sponsor us though if they would like to pay for this dinner.
I mean, the Chili's one pick, one sentence. Thoughts?
Maybe.
Chili's?
Presented by Chili's, home of the
Who
famous
knows?
chips and salsa.
Whoever the winner is might not pick Chili's yet. We'll see.
I
Let's
just-
move on to Major League Baseball.
Baseball.
Let's start off with the American League Central. Sorry, the
We're
American
not
League
in the playoffs anymore in the
Championship
American League
Series.
Central.
I was excited about all the restaurants. American League Championship Series. We're gonna have our timer back here. All right, American League Championship Series. We are in Game 3. Seattle leads the series 2-0. Toronto, though, looking like they're gonna make a major comeback, winning 12-2 right now. I have the Mariners winning this series in 6 games. I think Toronto wins 2 on the road. I still like the Mariners overall to win this series. So far, though, Toronto's offense has been lighting it up in this game. Kind of quiet the last couple days, but got to give credit to George Springer with a home run. Obviously, Guerrero Jr. with a home run. Big for him. Alejandro Kirk hit a home run tonight as well.
Andreas Jimenez hit a home run, perhaps.
Yes, he did. He did. You're right.
Hit a moon
Former
ball.
Guardian. And Shane Bieber went 6 innings, striking out 8. I mean, former Guardian. The Toronto Guardians with a big win probably on the way here. It's the bottom of the 7th, 12-2. Toronto. So, what a game for the Toronto Blue Jays comeback. I still think the series goes 6 games. Seattle wins it. I'll open the floor to you guys. What are you guys' thoughts on the ALCS so far?
After today, if I'm Seattle, I'm worried.
You're worried.
I'm worried if I'm a Mariner fan because we just went into Toronto and took both fairly convincingly without a lot of stress. And then we started this game. I don't know how much of this you guys watched. This game started 2-0 Seattle in the second inning. First inning. Julio Rodriguez hit a 2-run homer off Shane Bieber in the first inning, and place was going crazy. Vibes were high, and then Bieber locked in. Toronto got to Seattle's one of their best pitchers. They put an 8 spot on the starter, and you had all the momentum going into this game. You took 2 on the road, and if you win this game, the series is probably over. Like it's donezo, 3-0, you're not coming back. And now it's 2-1, and you've given Toronto life, you've given them confidence, and you let Vladdy get hot. And if I'm a Mariner fan, I'm worried after watching that.
Cal
Because
Raleigh
Toronto
0
just
for
came
3.
out
Josh Naylor 0 for 3.
not what you want. It's not what you want if you win 2 on the road to lose the first one at home, because now you've given home field back to the other team, pretty much. And that's not good. Sorry, Matthias, if you had comments, I didn't let you get them in.
Eh.
I know you're not a baseball guy, so this doesn't really.
I've from loosely paying attention to loosely paying attention to baseball. Right now, Toronto, it's just the endless cycle of, oh, this might be our year, and then they do good and then they start doing okay in the playoffs, and then they fall off.
Seattle
had,
probably looking for their first World Series appearance in franchise history. So I still think the Mariners are going to break through because I think they're the better team. But I see those concerns and they're valid, Jake. I don't disagree with you.
I'm thinking of it as from a fan perspective. Like if this was the Guardians, right? And we had just won 2 in Toronto, and it comes back to Cleveland and we get blown out, I would be terrified. I would not sleep tonight.
We're going to move on to the Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. The Dodgers leading the series five. I mean, series they lead the
Two to
series two
nothing.
games to none, but they won 5-1 yesterday. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was essentially perfect in his start. I think probably one of the most reliable pitchers the Dodgers have had all year. The bullpen held it together for the most part in this game for the Dodgers also. So you got to give credit. I'm sorry, the bullpen played on Monday, and
Yeah, I was gonna
yeah,
say
I mixed it up. The bullpen was perfect in game one. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was perfect in this game. They didn't need the bullpen, and they absolutely needed him to be. And the Milwaukee Brewers, to me, I think they're done. I think they're
it's
cooked.
over. It's
The,
over.
the Brewers, to me, they're just not a good playoff baseball team. They'll have great regular seasons. They constantly have great regular seasons, and then always fall apart when it matters most. They did against the Mets last year, and they're going to do it against the Dodgers this year. And granted, the Dodgers are just a much better baseball team. When Yoshinobu Yamamoto is your second best pitcher in your rotation, and he just got a complete game for you, I think you are pretty much well established as the best team in baseball. I think it's going to be Mariners and Dodgers. I have the Dodgers winning the whole darn thing. Even though the Mariners have had an inspiring season, Toronto's had an inspiring season. I like all these clubs, to be quite honest with you, but the Dodgers are just something else. And I don't know who's going to step up to the plate. Pun intended. Jake.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I think it's over too. Look, that was Milwaukee's chance, right? They had Freddie Peralta going, who's their ace. Love fastball Freddie. He's nasty. And he honestly pitched really admirably. He had two earned over 5 2/3, and with two outs in the sixth, gave up a home run to Max Muncy to make it three. And once it got to 3-1, it just felt like they were never going to get over the hump. You know, Brewers had a leadoff homer in this game. First pitch of the game that they saw, they had a homer, and then they did nothing. It's just, I just think they're demoralized. And it doesn't look, you can talk about payroll discrepancies and this and that and the other thing. Milwaukee just can't hit the ball, man. And they just feel demoralized. And it sucks because I was rooting for those guys, but I think it's over. Dodgers in four.
It's done. I think you're absolutely right. And we'll actually close out the timer there for that one, wrapping that pretty much up. I think it's going to be Dodgers, Seattle in the World Series, but we'll get to those thoughts on the next edition of Raw Takes and Company as the World
In
Series
4 games, is that what you're
eventually
saying,
underway.
Matthias?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a sweep. Get the brooms out. And they're going
Oh,
back to LA, by the way. They
yeah.
won two in Milwaukee.
Oh, they're going to LA. The brooms are coming out. I think
Yeah,
it's done. I'm
get
with
your
you.
brooms out. We'll have brooms on the pod next week.
Indiana, Oregon. All right. I made a massive mistake last week on Raw Takes and Company. I think you
Yeah,
guys
you
know
did.
it. I counted out Indiana. I said college football is essentially two teams, maybe three if you consider Miami, Florida. Now I'm willing to say it's two teams, Ohio State, Miami, Florida, and Oregon. Still good. They're going to make the playoffs. But Indiana is proving me very much wrong. I needed to see them win a game, a big game, and they did it. And Kurt Signetti got the job done. Indiana is rolling, and I don't think there's much you could say other than that. What a game that was for the Indiana Hoosiers, and I think a bad loss for the Oregon Ducks. I don't think you lose to a team like Indiana and validate yourself top dog either.
No, and I'm glad that you're willing to admit that you were wrong on Indiana because I felt pretty vindicated in what I said about Indiana last
Yeah.
week on the pod. Um, it's tough with Indiana because it's Indiana, right? If this was any other team with any other logo, with any other branding, you'd be like, yeah, they're awesome. But like, they're just not a football school. And they really never have been. So it's really hard to, like, to your credit, I don't disagree with what you're saying, where it's like, how can you believe in Indiana football? They've been bad forever. But boy, they've got a team. Elijah Surratt at wide receiver is a dog. That quarterback, by the way, if you're a Browns fan, I would be watching him. Just putting that out there. Like
Is are you watching Arch Manning?
no, I wouldn't do that. I would watch. I would prefer to watch the kid from Indiana. Um, Oregon didn't have it, and that's rare from this Ducks team that they don't have it. Indiana came out and played better for most of that game. I'll go to Matthias if he has anything else to say. That's what I got.
No, I got nothing.
All
My
right,
take is watch those. Watch that kid from Indiana is going to look real good in orange and brown next year. Hopefully,
let's move on to Ohio State with a win over Illinois. I don't think there's really too much to say about this win. I think we all expected it. 34-16. Ohio State keeps rolling. I really think it's going to come down to when they play Michigan because Indiana's not on that schedule right now. So they play Michigan at the end of the year, and Michigan just lost to USC. Michigan, once again, they're bad. They're not going anywhere.
No.
What are you going to do about it, Ohio State? Got to break through. If you're Ryan Day, you got to break through. Don't choke in the big house this year against that team that we know stinks. But obviously, college football landscape's a lot different now. You lose to Michigan, it's not the end of the world, but still,
It
I
is
think
the end
Ohio
of the
State
world,
fan.
by the
Well,
way.
it feels
Unless
like
you win the
feels
Natty,
like
it's
it to
the
me.
end
It
of the
still
world.
does. It still
Again,
feels like the end of the world to me. Ohio State has the opportunity to be back-to-back champs here, and it'll look much better with a Michigan victory. But obviously, to me, it really comes down to let's get to the Michigan game already because we know Michigan stinks. But is Michigan still going to have the upper hand? It's possible. What are your thoughts, guys?
Matthias, I'll go to you first. I have a Ryan Day take, but I'll let you speak first.
so for Ohio State, they had a great win, just what we expected. And I think that QB, he's been I forgot his name right now, but he's been looking really solid, staying in the
Julian
pocket.
Saiyan.
Julian Sagan.
Yeah, Julius Sagan.
Saiyan, like Super
Yeah.
Saiyan.
Oh, so okay, so we already have the posters for when we win. Got
Yeah,
it.
sell the merch. Just
Yeah.
put it on a poster.
Actually, like start selling it yesterday, Ohio State. Like,
Really, I don't know why they haven't yet.
um, but yeah, like he's been playing phenomenal. Just the whole it's Ohio State. You know what you're getting. Um, I have the same concerns when it comes to specifically Ryan Day in Michigan, especially being an O State fan growing up, where it's like, oh, Michigan has never lost to Ohio. I mean, Ohio State has never lost to Michigan, and now it's completely flipped on its head.
Yeah. It's Michigan's rivalry for the most part right now. And I think it's just going to come down to that game at this point, really, when it comes down to things. And how good can Michigan be when we look at the next game we actually slated off here before we move on to our picks for the rivalry week?
Hold on.
Jake
Yeah.
has a thing. He had a thing.
I had a thing.
Okay, you had a thing. Let's get
I
to
had a
it.
Ryan Day take. It's actually a positive Ryan Day take, which is rare for me.
All
I
right.
think he's a different human being now than he was during the Michigan game the first time. I think that Michigan loss changed something in that man. I don't know if it was emotionally or mentally or spiritually or what. He is a different human. He is a whole new level right now of a locked in. That national championship run, we saw a angry, aggressive, and just football coach out of Ryan Day. And that's not something that I don't know how to explain it. He just feels like a different person. He feels like he's never going to lose again. Like he doesn't ever want to lose again. And I've never felt that way about him before. I've hated him for most of his tenure as the head coach of Ohio State. And right now I feel like he's never going to lose a game again because he's more locked in than I've ever seen.
I think we got to thank Matt Patricia as well. Probably the best defensive coordinator hire of the year in
It
college.
certainly
He's
helps.
been terrific, I think.
Awesome. He's awesome.
Not great on the NFL level, but great at the college level. I think college guys respect him and they love him, and I think they play their tail off for him. Caleb Downs even
Absolutely.
said so numerous times. Who is the stud of this Ohio State team? Don't get me wrong. Julian Sain's been great, but Caleb Downs is this team right now, in my opinion.
Kid's
All
a
right.
dog.
We're going to do 1 minute on this game. I don't think there's too much to talk about here, but Oklahoma did lose to Texas, and Texas didn't look very good at the very beginning of this game, but they came back and won. I'm still not high on Arch Manning. I'm not high on Texas. I'm not high on the SEC, and this game proves it. Oklahoma losing as bad as they did, I think, makes Michigan look worse, too. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
I'm also out on the SEC.
Oh, yeah, the Big
And
Ten's a better conference by
I'm
far.
glad that I have a platform to say this now. The college football has run through the Big Ten for like 3 years now. Like we're going on the third year where the Big Ten is the premier conference in the sport. And
And
there's no
Indiana has
denying.
already overtaken Oregon, so that helps us, right?
Well, in Michigan national championship, Ohio State national championship, and the two best teams in the country right now, or two of the three, are in the Big Ten. This is the supreme conference in the sport right now. The SEC stays are at least out right now. Big Ten is the best conference in the sport.
All right, Matthias, any takes there?
I got nothing. You said it all.
All right. All right, we're gonna do and let's just specify for college games, we're not keeping track of them. So we're just gonna do quick picks, one sentence,
I
one
have a
pick, and then we're gonna
chance.
wrap up the pod. Jake, I'm gonna let you do the honors and call out these games, and you can pick who goes first, who goes second, and you can give your pick after.
Sure. I just picked only four. We don't have to do a lot of college games every week, but some fun rivalries this week, including USC and Notre Dame, two teams that really don't like each other. USC is going to go play at Notre Dame this year. USC has not fared well in this rivalry the last couple of years. I'm personally going to take Notre Dame because they're at home and they're playing way better than people think they are. And yeah, I'm going to go Notre Dame. Andrew, I'll go to you first.
I'm with you on Notre Dame. I think USC beating Michigan has proven nothing, but they still only have one loss on the year. Maybe they're better than we think. I don't think so, though. Notre Dame, to me, I think is going to win this game. They do have two losses on the year, but I still think they're exceptionally coached and a really good team.
Much to my chagrin and disdain of Notre Dame, I think they're winning this one, especially with the history of the rivalry favoring Notre Dame. It at home. Notre Dame, if you lose this one, there's something's got to give.
Yeah, that would be loss number three if Notre Dame loses that. So definitely one they have to have. We'll go to Ohio State in Wisconsin to play the Badgers. Probably an easy pick, but I'm going to take the Buckeyes. Let me know if you guys disagree with that.
Oh, I'm taking the Badgers to lose.
Yeah,
Buckeyes
I
all
don't think
day.
this
They're
game's going to be close.
they're not losing a game till they face Michigan. I don't see it happening.
Matthias, your thoughts?
OH.
IO.
I don't know what the spread is, but take Ohio State to cover it because they're going to put about 50 in this game.
Spread is 25.5.
Yeah, they're going to win by about 50. They might double that. I'm going to skip this Utah game because I actually don't know who to pick. So we're going to go to Tennessee and Alabama because that's more exciting. So we can trash the SEC some more. Um, we'll go to
I hope
Tennessee.
Tennessee wins. I mean, that'll help the
Tennessee's
case.
going to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. Another great, just deep South SEC rivalry. This is a fun one. I want to take Tennessee, but if this game was in Tennessee, like in Knoxville, I'd probably take them, but not going to win in Alabama. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide. Andrew?
I'm going to take the Crimson Tide, but I'm rooting for Tennessee to win the game because the worse Alabama looks, the worse it is for the SEC because Alabama is the premier program of the SEC. So the more they lose, the better. It's not happening this year in Tuscaloosa. Alabama to beat Tennessee.
I'm going to put it like this. Both Tennessee and Alabama had a close win last week. Tennessee's close win was against unranked Arkansas. I love the Razorbacks. They always put up a fight. But Alabama's close win was against 14th ranked Missouri.
In Missouri.
Yeah.
So in
There you
Missouri.
go. Yeah,
So like I'm taking Alabama on this one.
pretty good way to put it. Now, unpredictable sport, but
Mhm.
that's astute analysis. That's about as good as you can
That'll-
get there. That
that'll
wraps
drive
up
you-
this college football. Good rivalries. Watch college football this week. Should be
I
fun.
think that about wraps it up for the year 2007, guys. It's going to be fun to see you in 2025, 18 years later in October, right?
Do you guys think we would have been friends in 2007?
We knew each other probably, but we all grew up in different corners of Northeast Ohio.
If we would have met in first grade, would we have all
I would
been
say we would all
friends?
have been friends. I think we would have been, but we
I
met in
think I still would
college,
have
and
been
that's
the
good enough.
tallest.
What did you say, Matthias?
I think I still would have been the tallest.
I
Oh,
agree with
that's
that.
I probably would have been the shortest. So
And we're
that's
all a
I was
year
even
apart from
shorter
each
back then.
other. I'm 2000, Jake's 2001, and Matthias is 2002. So there you go.
Would have been perfect.
2007, it would have been a different era for us. But hey, that's it for today's edition of Raw Takes and Company, everybody. Thank you for staying tuned. Who is going to pick where we go to dinner? And who's going to pay for it all? Excuse me. And who's going to be the guy in the middle just celebrating, taking it in? Like, I didn't get as many picks right as the other person or not. If you enjoyed our picks, please make sure to comment on this video or reach out to us directly on social media. And as well, check out our social media pages, Raw Takes and Company, on Facebook and Instagram. And check out our last week's video if you have time as well. We go deep into a lot of stuff from last week. We'd appreciate some more views there. And we got some more reels coming out of this video too. So, hey, thank you guys so much for tuning into Raw Takes and Company. We'll be back for week 3 of the pod next week. Hope you have a good one. For Matthias Andahar and Jake Malensik, it's Andrew Hody signing off. We'll be back with you next week. And we'll have more updates on our picks then. Thank you guys. Take it easy.